All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to By the Bedside. And as you can see, I am sitting bedside in front of my nightstand with arguably the greatest cheapy fragrance brand out there. And I would say the fragrance brand with the most prestige among the cheapies. Now, you can find English Laundry at Dillard's. And to that, I would say, unless you're really in love with the scent, I wouldn't buy it there. I wouldn't buy it there. I would stick to this as a cheapie. I believe this is an excellent brand. And I believe if you see any of these in the discount rack stores, go ahead and grab them, pick them up, because they're definitely worth a purchase. This is going to be a very bro sciencey, basic kind of review. And I'm sorry this is in the way, but I'm not going to move it. And thank you for watching ahead of time. But I'm just going to say these are the top fragrances in this brand that I've found. Now, I've smelled Tahitian Waters. I'll go ahead and knock some other ones out the way. Tahitian Waters smells good, but it's kind of more of a basic scent. Not that any of these are groundbreaking. Some of these are clones. This is a clone of Versace Eros. This is kind of a clone of Creed Aventus. And then, this kind of smells like Burberry to me because it's powdery and I don't really get around powdery scents. But back to what I was saying about Tahitian Waters, it's just too basic. Like when you spray it on, it doesn't last. You get some coconut in there. It does have a citrus coconut smell to it, but it just dies down too quickly and it basically... All right, folks, in this part of the video, I'm just trying to say that it dries down just to a basic sugary kind of fragrance to me, and it doesn't last long enough. And then for Arrogance, it was a little too light, and it just didn't kind of smell as unique or stand out to me. The same thing with Crown and Throne. They're just not different enough from these 5 scents that I have to really break away and get them. If I, run out of one of these scents and happen to come across them, yeah, I'll probably buy them, but they're not in my pantheon of the top 5 English Laundry scents that I always look out for. All right, and one very sad honorable mention is going to be Riviera. That is probably one of the best scents by English Laundry, and it is so weak. It does not last long at all. I mean, it dies out way too fast. So if you spray it in the store, please understand you're going to be wowed. You're going to love it. It's a very balanced fragrance. It just smells good. It's very pleasing, but it just disappears way too fast. So I would say if you are into English Laundry, which is like a mid-tier cheapie, once you get to about 5 or so, start picking with more caution and maybe, get some more expensive fragrances. I probably wouldn't pay over $30 or $40 for these. I definitely wouldn't go to Dillard's and get them. It's just too expensive. Like these are like $80, $90 at Dillard's, and after tax, you're looking at $100. And to me, they don't stand up to any Versace fragrance or any of the Armani fragrances. They don't hold up to those. I would rather pay $20, $30 more than $80 or $90 and get Armani and have it be like a solid fragrance that goes 6 to 8 hours plus. Armani Code, Acqua di Gio, Profundo, all those. The first one I want to talk about, we'll just jump right into it, is Cambridge Night. And this does smell similar to Invictus Aqua. And I would say if you're going to pay full price for English Night, you might as well get Invictus Aqua. This does, you can watch my review on it. It is a little bit heavier, a little bit more mature. It's not as playful and light and fresh, in my opinion. And you can overspray this, but it just doesn't last like these other ones when you overspray. Particularly London, Signature, and Oxford Blue. This Armor you can overspray, and this one lasts a cinch more than this one, but this is really disappointing because this is a really good fragrance. I would say this smells probably just as good as Invictus Aqua. But if you're in the summer, it just depends on your mood. If you want something more lighter, more fresh, you're going to like Invictus Aqua. I had the 2018 version. I know people hate on it, but I love it. I still have a couple squirts in the bottle that I haven't used in over a year. But this, to me, smells just as good. it just does not last. I mean, on me, like overspraying 2.5 hours, maybe. I oversprayed one time in my office at work, and it just didn't hold up. Like 3 hours later, and I'm just like, what is going on? So this came out in 2015, so it's not like a super old fragrance. Top notes are blackcurrant, C notes, grapefruit, musk, and lily. Mid notes are bay leaf, guaiac wood, which I love, jasmine. Base notes are cedar, oak moss, and patchouli. And what I like about this fragrance, and people are gonna hate me, they're gonna at me, I love that it doesn't have tonka bean. I get fatigued of tonka beans, and it's a little bit more mature. So, I mean, anybody can wear this, but I would say Cambridge Night is dope. And I like the bottle. Like, it has a gold cap, and it's red, and it has gold writing on it. So that's super dope. I would probably pay a maximum of $30, $35 for this. You can find these in discount retailers, under 20 bucks. But, like I said, these are mid-tier cheapies, so they tend to... They smell quality, it's just longevity. It doesn't matter if it's eau de toilette or eau de parfum. It just seems like sometimes they don't last as much. And it really depends on your chemistry, your body chemistry, and kind of where you spray cologne too. I tend to spray it on my skin and on my clothes. Now, I don't spray like directly on a shirt because you can get oil stains and stuff like that. And if I'm wearing a formal shirt, I wouldn't do that. I would just go on skin. I feel like cheapies are a good opportunity just to have variety that you can spray on you. And if they last 3 to 4 hours, really, really good. London, my favorite fragrance. Now, honestly, I mean, these could really be at a tie. Like, Oxford Blue has really, really grown on me. I've gotten so many compliments from dudes and women. I mean, I would say this is more of a crowd pleaser like Eros is. These are probably the two best English laundry fragrances. And honestly, I don't know how these are not more popular, but you can overspray this and it'll last on me like 4 to 5 hours. And even longer, it'll be a skin scent after that, but you can get 4 to 5 hours. And for me, that's comfortable because I can have it in the office or in a bag and I can just reapply as needed. I don't know. This just has a richer smell to me. It doesn't project and it doesn't last like Eros, but it smells a bit richer to me. And so again, if you find it, buy it, test it on your skin. If you don't like it after like 2 to 3 uses, you can toss these on Marketplace and somebody will buy them. You pay 16, somebody will pick it up for 10 if you're really wanting to drop it off, because you're frustrated with it. So it's a woody floral musk fragrance. To me, it doesn't hit as a party fragrance. I know people do that, but top notes, and this came out in 2014, are mint, green apple, lemon. I don't smell as much green apple in here, but I guess like the flavors blend very well to me to where the mint, green apple, and lemon are kind of softened by the vanilla note. The vanilla and sandalwood kind of soften them, and they're not blunt like that. And so the middle notes in this are tonka bean, iris, and geranium. You can definitely tell the tonka bean in this. I mean, that's probably the most prominent part to me. And then the base notes are vanilla, sandalwood, vetiver, and oak moss. But again, like reading off notes, that doesn't really tell you anything if you're not familiar with the fragrance. This, I would probably pay $40, $45 for a bottle of this. I like the smell. I don't know, I get torn because I like the way it smells better than Eros, but you can find Eros so much cheaper now that just for the longevity, I mean, that bottle will probably last you maybe almost twice as long as this one. So if you can find Eros for like 67, I would pick it up. The next one I'll jump into is London. This is a great presentation. This scent, it is a clone-ish of Creed Aventus. But one thing I will say, and I'm not gonna harp or hover on that Creed connection with London. I absolutely love this fragrance because it has a blackberry note. That is not a note that is found in Creed Aventus. This has a different vibe. This has a more settled vibe. It's not a projection beast like Aventus was or is to some people. But man, I love this fragrance, and it's so unique. I know people say a ton of people wear Creed. I live in the Midwest, And a ton of people don't wear Creed Aventus. And I also fly like 4 to 5 times a year. And when I'm in airports, I do not smell Creed everywhere. People would have you think everybody's out here buying a $500 bottle and pouring it on. That's just not the case. I love the presentation. If you overspray on this, it can last like 6 hours, to be honest with you. I go nose blind. I was wearing this one day. It was a summer day. And I was working and I had to go outside and I had to go talk to someone outside, and they were like, man, I see you. I was kind of dressed up that day, and they're like, man, you smelling good. And it was like 5 hours later. I couldn't smell it, but we were out in the heat, and they could smell it. So I think you could get like maybe 5.5 hours out of this. Depending upon your body chemistry, it may last. And some people say this goes in 45 minutes. When I first got it, I felt like it was gone in an hour and a half, but I was doing the old 4 or 5 sprays. Now, I mean, finding these bottles under 20 bucks, you gotta go 8-9 sprays. And that sounds crazy, but just do it. Like, you're not paying that much. The only drawback about overspraying on these cheapies is you can't find them regularly in the stores. And I'm gonna have a video that comes out about like the best cheapie for availability and just smell and value. And that's part of the reason why I don't give English Laundry like a high pass on like greatest cheapie, best value, because you cannot find them consistently in rack stores. You kind of, you know, get what you can get and don't throw a fit is basically the thing with this. Like I saw London one time in Burlington, and then I saw it for like 2 or 3 weeks. There were like 3 bottles in one Burlington and 2 in another. And after that, I haven't seen it again. I haven't seen it in Nordstrom Rack. You can go online, but people are selling these for 45, 50 bucks. And that kind of stings a little bit when you know you can find them at a rack store sometimes. But if not, I mean, I would definitely pay. I would pay $50 for this bottle, honestly. I mean, you cannot get Creed that cheaply. And one thing I will say, I'm going to throw some crazy shade. This is not better than London. El Dorado, I'm about to do a review on it. It's Aventus clone-ish, but this has like a burnt rubber smell that I can't shake. So if you have a choice between these two, definitely get London and Overspray. This came out in 2018, so this is not an old fragrance. If you see this or Oxford Blue, pick them up. Buy 2 bottles. These are the ones I would buy 2 bottles of. And Signature, definitely I would buy 2 bottles. I'm just going to throw that out there. The top notes in this fragrance are pineapple, blackberry, and apple. And that blackberry hits. That thing slaps. You don't smell blackberry in a lot of fragrances. And it doesn't smell feminine. It does it in a masculine way. To me, this is not a unisex fragrance. If I smelled it on a woman, I wouldn't be offended. I wouldn't be like, why is she wearing that? But to me, this is definitely a masculine fragrance. And then the middle notes are juniper, patchouli, bergamot, ambergris. Base notes are oak moss, musk, jasmine, and vanilla. I definitely pick up on the jasmine and the vanilla, kind of give it a smoothness. And I love that this doesn't have tonka bean. But to me, the stars are the blackberry and the juniper. I mean, they make this fragrance pop. It is a must buy. I can't say that enough. You got to smell it to know that, but definitely need to pick it up. The next fragrance we're going to be looking at is one that I bought, got rid of, and bought again. And I kind of fell in love with this a little bit. So this is English Laundry Signature. And this, when I originally bought it, it came in this nice box like English Laundry fragrances do. And I was like, ooh, Signature. And it was like 16 bucks. And I was like, man, this is great. Now, unfortunately, the sprayer popped off last week when I was spraying this in my car. So I have to go retrieve that before I vacuum my car out again. But this fragrance definitely smells mature. It smells smooth. And this is a good travel fragrance. It's kind of light, fresh, and powdery. So this came out in 2010. So it's a little bit older, but top notes are lavender, cedar, lemon, and bergamot. And that lavender and lemon pop to me. And this is just a smooth fragrance. I think this would sit well on a variety of body types. So if you're getting someone a gift, this would be a good gift fragrance. This is not a projection beast, but it does give you a nice sillage if you overspray 8-9 sprays, do a little skin, do a little shirt. Spray some on the back of your neck. This will last, 4 hours. I can't speak to it past 4 hours, but then you can respray. And what I've noticed is, like, I work in an office setting, and sometimes people will ask me questions about this paperwork or that, or, this program and how to do this. And if you lean in somebody's vicinity or you sit beside them, they're going to pick up on this and you're going to get compliments. You smell fresh. It's smooth, it's posh. I would say this fragrance is posh. And the powdery, kind of vibe of this does remind me a little bit of Burberry. Middle notes are coriander, nutmeg. I don't really smell nutmeg as much. Base notes are musk, sandalwood, vetiver, and amber. I don't smell a ton of musk in this, and I'm not the biggest fan. I do smell it, but it goes well with those top notes. It's just smooth, and it smells like a quality fragrance. This does not smell cheap at all. For this, I would probably pay a maximum of $30. It doesn't give you as much of a sillage, and that's just the type of fragrance it is. I'm not saying I would pay less because, English Laundry didn't do a good job, but just by its nature, it's just a little bit closer. So when you hop in an Uber, if you're on an airplane, you can smell good, lean over, talk to somebody and not knock them out. And they can, take a deep breath and take it in and be like, oh man, that smells good. To me, it's inviting, it's inoffensive, it's very safe guy, nice guy type fragrance. It does not have an edge to it. So this would be good to wear around family, sitting around the house. You're not going to make it going to a job interview. That this would be good. A situation where you're not super familiar with. And I would say all of these you can wear year round. I know a lot of times people box fragrances into seasons, but I don't, man. Just wear it when you want, wear it how you feel. If you're in a library, if you're in a shared office space working, and there are those people who act like they're gonna die if you walk by and they smell anything, this is probably gonna be a good option for you. And the next one is kind of similar. This is Armor. And I had this one and got rid of it and I got it back. And to me, this is probably the freshest fragrance out of the bunch. I know some people may say that Cambridge Night is more fresh than this, but I'm going to argue no. This has lemon at the top, but it smells fresh, mature, and well put together as well. There's a fresh note, but then there's some depth to this fragrance, in my opinion. The only drawback with this fragrance is that for it having lemon and being a fresher fragrance, it doesn't project as much as I would like it to. This isn't an offensive fragrance at all, but if you overspray 8-9 sprays, give it some time, give it about half an hour. Do not do this right before you go into a building, or people are probably going to complain. I mean, you can have too much of a good thing. Top notes are lemon, zest, and bergamot. And so those are kind of at you kind of fragrances, and it does have a sharper note in the beginning, but it dries down pretty quickly. I would say about after 15-20 minutes it settles. The middle notes are geranium, rose, and lavender, and so I really like that. I feel like this is a well-balanced fragrance. It is not as smooth as Signature. And then the base notes are musk, oak moss, and patchouli. So you're kind of getting into a similar dry down with the Signature. This isn't a powdery dry down. Of the two, I would say it's a tie. I honestly couldn't say either way. Like, if you put a gun to my head, I would probably take, Signature just because it's more posh. And it's something that I feel like, even though like Burberry is very wildly popular, it's been around for a while, you just don't smell it as much. It's just refreshing, very inviting. The powdery is cozy to me, whereas this one's more like I'm going out to an event, I'm going to a conference, I'm going to church, I'm going out to dinner. I think you could wear this in the evening. You could wear this year round. Of these fragrances, I mean, this is the least of these, but I would definitely grab a second bottle because, again, the availability for these fragrances is not there. And for $14, $15, $16, this is a really good deal. This one, I'd probably pay $20, $27 for it. And you know, some people honestly like 80, 90, $100 isn't much to them. And it's not a ton of money, but just, you know, for value reasons, like I could get an 80, 90, $100 fragrance, but it wouldn't be these. Like if I'm in Dillard's, I'm gonna go to like Polo Blue Parfum, Eau de Parfum, or I know that's kind of old school for some, or I'm gonna go to like, I don't know, Armani Code, pay a little bit more. You can get Nautica Voyage and other cheapies that are really, really good at a low price point. But yeah, this one's good. I love the presentation on this. Like this is definitely a masculine scent. It is very fresh, but I would say this is kind of a middleweight fragrance to me. It does have those citrus notes at the top, but this is a midweight fragrance. So on this fragrance, if you have Murata Monarch, don't buy this. This one's a little bit lighter than this one, but they pretty much accomplish the same thing. They overlap to me about this much, so it's not worth buying the two if you're a hardcore cheapy fragrance person. So anyway, that's it for me. And one last thing I'll say, the best place to probably get them, you can order them online sometimes at Nordstrom Rack, or just go to a Nordstrom Rack and you can find them on sale. They're not going to be $15, $16, but you can find a gift set.